This is the most recognizable aircraft in history. It is a flying command post, a bunker in the sky, and the supreme symbol of American projection of power. While the world knows it by its call sign, Air Force One, the United States Air Force knows it as the VC-25A. It is the only aircraft in the world built to survive a nuclear war while serving a five-star dinner. In 1990, Boeing delivered two of these highly modified 747-200Bs with tail numbers 28000 and 29000. They were built for one job: to transport the President of the United States anywhere in the world at any time with the same communication capabilities and security as the White House itself. We have recreated the VC-25A in detail to strip away the skin and see how American engineers transformed a commercial airliner into a fortress. In this film, we will be looking at the engineering, the defenses, and the operational life of the flying White House.
The VC-25A is a giant. It stands 63 feet 5 inches tall, the equivalent of a 6-story building. It stretches 231 feet 10 inches long. To put that in perspective, the Wright brothers' first flight could have taken place entirely inside the 4,000 square feet of interior floor space of this aircraft. While it shares the silhouette of the classic Boeing 747-200B, the airframe has been heavily modified. The commercial 747-200 was designed to carry over 400 passengers. The VC-25A carries only 71 passengers and 26 crew, yet it weighs significantly more. Its empty weight is roughly 526,500 pounds, and fully loaded, it can take off weighing over 833,000 pounds. The fuselage is built primarily of high-strength aluminum alloys, but the skin of this aircraft hides a unique secret. The entire airframe is hardened against electromagnetic pulses, or EMPs.
In the event of a nuclear detonation, the electromagnetic shock wave would fry the electronics of a standard airliner, causing it to fall from the sky. The VC-25A is shielded. Miles of wiring inside are heavily shielded, and the aircraft functions as a Faraday cage, protecting its delicate avionics from the ultimate energy surge. To lift this flying fortress, the VC-25A relies on 4 General Electric CF6 80C2B1 turbofan engines. These are not the standard Pratt & Whitney engines found on many 747s of the era. Each engine produces 56,700 pounds of thrust. They are designed for reliability over raw efficiency. But the defining feature of the VC-25A's propulsion system isn't the engines, it is the range. The aircraft carries 53,611 gallons of jet fuel in its wing tanks. This allows for a range of roughly 7,800 miles, enough to fly from Washington, D.C. to Tokyo without stopping. However, unlike its commercial counterparts, the VC-25A possesses a universal aerial refueling receptacle slipway installation located just below the cockpit. With mid-air refueling, the aircraft's range is limited only by the endurance of the engine's oil supply. In a crisis scenario, Air Force One can stay airborne indefinitely, keeping the president safe above the chaos below. This is a military aircraft, but it carries no offensive weapons. Its sole purpose is survival. The exact specifications of the defense suite are classified, but we know it utilizes the AN/ALQ-204 Matador system. These infrared countermeasure devices are located near the tail and behind the engines. They pulse infrared energy to confuse the guidance systems of heat-seeking missiles. Additionally, the aircraft is equipped with chaff and flare dispensers to act as decoys for radar-guided and thermal threats. But the plane's most powerful tool is information. The distinctive hump and the underside of the fuselage are covered in antennas. The VC-25A carries 85 onboard telephones, multi-frequency radios, and Wi-Fi capability. This system relies on a complex array of satellites to ensure that even if the ground grid is destroyed, the president can order a nuclear strike or address the nation from 45,000 feet. The interior is divided into 3 decks, offering 4,000 square feet of floor space. The lower deck is primarily for cargo and avionics. However, it also houses something unique: retractable air stairs. Air Force One is designed to be self-sufficient. It does not need a ground crew or a stair truck to operate. It can land at a remote airfield, offload the president, and take off again without local assistance. The main deck is the flying White House. Located in the quietest part of the plane, the nose, is the presidential suite.
It includes a stateroom with 2 twin beds, a dressing room, and a private lavatory with a shower.
Just aft of this is the President's office. While not a replica of the Oval Office, it serves the same function. Perhaps the most critical room is the medical annex. Located next to the President's office, it is essentially an airborne emergency room. It contains a fold-out operating table, a full pharmacy, and life support equipment. On every flight, a doctor and a nurse are on board. The aircraft even carries a supply of the President's specific blood type in cooler storage. Moving aft, we find the 2 galleys. These are not standard airline kitchens. They can prepare fresh meals for up to 100 people at a time. The plane carries enough food to sustain the crew for weeks if necessary. The rear of the main deck resembles a first-class commercial cabin. This is the domain of the Secret Service detail and the traveling press corps. Interestingly, the press are confined to this area and are generally not allowed to move forward into the working areas of the plane.
The upper deck houses the cockpit and the communications center. Here, Air Force operators manage the satellite uplinks and secure lines, ensuring the football, the briefcase containing nuclear launch codes, is always connected to the Pentagon. The operation of the VC-25A is a tightly choreographed ballet of logistics. The aircraft is maintained by the 89th Airlift Wing at Andrews Air Force Base in Maryland. Before every flight, the aircraft is polished by hand. Security sweeps are conducted that take hours. Even the fuel is guarded by armed airmen from the refinery to the tanker truck. When the President steps on board, the call sign changes from a standard tail number to Air Force One. The flight profiles are distinct. The VC-25A often climbs steeper and faster than a commercial airliner to exit the vulnerable low-altitude airspace as quickly as possible. Often, the decoy strategy is used. Both tail number 28,000 and 29,000 will fly to the same location.
One carries the President, the other serves as a backup and a decoy to confuse potential attackers. The operational philosophy is simple. The President is never out of touch and never without protection. The VC-25A has served since the administration of George H.W. Bush. It has flown into war zones in Iraq and Afghanistan. But these airframes are aging. They are based on the 747-200, a design that commercial airlines retired years ago. Maintenance is becoming difficult and expensive. Boeing is currently building the next generation, the VC-25B, based on the modern 747-8 Intercontinental. It will be longer, more fuel efficient, and feature even more advanced electrical power generation to support future defense systems. Until then, the VC-25A remains the ultimate symbol of office. It is a masterpiece of modification, a commercial shell filled with the most advanced military hardware on the planet. It is, quite literally, the heavy weight of the presidency, lifted on wings of aluminum. The following program is a technical and historical documentary. While the visuals are synthetically generated to illustrate complex aerospace concepts, all data is based on official military records and declassified archives. This is a study of engineering and history.